Alright. What's up, everyone? This is kind of a mouthful. Super Metroid Redesign low percent GT code. So if you guys saw the 135% GT code run earlier, this is pretty similar, but it's for the ROM hack Super Metroid Redesign. It's a pretty well-known ROM hack. It's 12 years old now. It's one of the classics. It's pretty infamous for being unfairly difficult at times and having insanely heavy gravity. Yeah, so the main, I guess, difference with the category, the other run is max percent GT code, and this is low percent GT code, but they're both kind of the same premise. The difference is that the way percentage is tracked in Super Metroid Redesign is the percentage calculation was redone, so it's custom code now, and what it does is it takes, it counts every item location that you picked up from the game. And it's changed this because the ammo pickups in this game give you varying amounts of ammo. And there's also 174 items to pick up in this game instead of the round number 100. So the percentage just works differently. In vanilla Super Metroid, it actually tracks your ammo, it divides your ammo counts by 5, and it divides your energy count by 100, and adds that to your percentage. So a takeaway from that is that when you do GT code in vanilla, it sets your percentage to 53%. And then from there, to get max percent, you leave as many miners on the planet as possible before you go do GT code. When you do GT code in Redesign, it doesn't touch your percentage at all. So if I were to do max percent, that would still be the same, it would still be 100%. So this is just low percent. And the difference is that every item that I pick up before doing GT code will count. Every item, majors, minors, whatever. Don't worry about the timer, by the way, it's fine. It's all fine. Oops. Kill that guy to get him out of the way. But a lot of things are going to be similar. So basically, getting to gold Torizo to input the debug code with the 0 e-tanks, minimal ammo. But in this run, I have to pay attention to major items as well. I cannot collect more than the minimum major items either. The beginning of the game up until bombs is pretty kind of straightforward. There's not a lot of room for deviation at all. This section is just managing my ammo and health properly. Those pirates take a lot of shots from the beam, but I also need to maintain full missile count to be able to open doors, so kind of have to know which enemies I can tank and which I can't, or I can get drops. There's a pirate here, green pirate I don't want to land on, so if I unmorph at the right time, I can dodge him. Because unmorphing slows your descent. If my mic is low, actually, probably the best solution for me is to turn my game volume down a bit. Oh, I need another missile. There we go. I'll just turn the game volume down, that's the easiest way I can do this. Yeah. So I mean, as you can see, the gravity of this ROM hack is much heavier. One of the main goals of the hack was to give it an unfamiliar feeling for veteran players of the original game. So because of the physics changes, a lot of stuff that was, you know, easy to break the game with in vanilla, wall jumping and infinite bomb jumping, that's all completely different. And actually, you can't even wall jump to start off with. You have to get an item for that. So I'll be grabbing that for killing this boss here, who's I believe a custom-coded addition to this ROM hack, not found in the vanilla game. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's less good. That's okay. So on rounds 2 and afterwards, if you get manage to get missiles in as he's opening up, they will not cause him to close. So you can get kind of 2 barrages of missiles in at once. Alright, now he's dead. So now I have wall jump boots. If you look at how I'm wall jumping, basically, this game forces you away from the wall, like, sort of like Fusion does. You can kind of, cancel it. Wow. Can I have missiles, please? Thank you. You can kind of cancel it if you re-input the direction towards the wall quickly enough. So you can actually do a single wall climb, but it's much harder. There are a few places where it is useful to do that for sequence breaking. There's going to be one of those coming up right as I take this elevator back down to Brinstar, but first I have to go get bombs. Come on. I tanked that zoomer because The green pirate does 33 damage. I want to avoid that. So if you guys did not, in fact, see the 135% GT code run of Super Metroid earlier in this marathon, if you're not familiar with what GT code is or does, it's short for Golden Torizo code. It's a debug code that's written into, it's actually written into the AI for the mini-boss Golden Torizo, found in Lower Norfair. Probably used by the devs to test the fight out. So if you hold A, B, X, and Y as you're entering the door transition, the game gives you every major item except Screw Attack, and it sets your energy to 700 and your ammo counts to 120 and 20. So it basically gives you a bunch of items for free. And because, as I mentioned in this ROM hack, doing that does not change your percentage, I'll be getting to the Golden Torizo fight with as few items as necessary to get there, which is quite a different item set from fewest items needed to beat the game total. So if we're talking about beating the game, I would need some energy tanks from Mother Brain. I would need Ice Beam for Metroids, and I would need Gravity. But since I do not need those things to get to Golden Torizo, I will not be getting them before getting to that fight. And the other thing about the GT fight in this hack is it is actually after the Ridley fight. You have to kill Ridley to get to Golden Torizo, so that means we are going to be doing a 0 energy tank Ridley fight. With only Charge Beam and no Gravity Suit. Okay. So this is the Bomb Torizo quick kill. Bomb Torizo is actually a verb in this hack. Also, now you can see that there were 3 green dots on the HUD since getting bombs. That's a custom code bomb counter. It works like the bomb counter in Prime 2 and 3. Do a crouch jump, respin, wall jump here. I should explain respin, I guess. Respin is another bit of custom code that lets you restart a spin jump in midair by pressing the jump button again. So you can actually use that in tandem with crouch jumps. Crouch jumps let you start a jump half a tile higher than normal. Actually, it's more than half a tile higher in this hack. It's, for whatever reason, crouch jumps are even stronger in Redesign. I don't know why, but it actually becomes an integral part of platforming and speedrunning this. Okay, so bomb counter, bomb jumping, infinite bomb jumping. The rhythm is a lot different, and the bomb counter actually shrinks the window that you can get this to work. It'd be more lenient, but if you use your bombs too fast, you will run out. so it's actually quite difficult. So it is not intended to have to do that to beat this hack. But there are some items for a 100% run that will require it. So normally I'd get this energy tank, but since this is a 0 E tank, we are skipping it. And I'm glad I remembered because this is the only category where you skip that E tank. I guess also wall jumping, you aren't allowed to wall jump off of just any surface. You can only wall jump off of specific surfaces, and those are actually denoted by a special type of tile. The tile type is independent of the graphic, so there are some visual inconsistencies with where the game allows you and does not allow you to wall jump, which is unfortunate, I suppose. But generally, those are denoted by these kind of girder walls. Or just rough natural surfaces. There are some like specifically conspicuous smooth surfaces that are supposed to denote that you cannot wall jump off them. But yeah, so I'm going right here. Normally you go left and go back to Spore Spawn's room, because once you have bombs, oh, that's bad. Once you have bombs, there is a bomb block climbing up Spore Spawn's room that blocks your first super missile pack. But I am going this way. This is an alternate path to Red Brinstar. It is supposed to be accessed with high jump and is a lot more dangerous and has an alternate first super pack that I can grab from the spike pit. Okay, and oh. Okay, I did a single wall climb to get out of that pit, which is really difficult to input the direction in time for the game to force me away from the wall. But yeah, so survived that. I'm gonna come back here and farm a bit. Normally I wouldn't farm if I had one E-tank here, like most categories, but I really do need to get back to full, because I will be taking a bit more damage here. Okay, so now I do this running jump to the edge of the platform and wall jump off of that. That's a really hard wall jump, actually. Alright. You can wall jump off a single wall, but you have to input the direction of the wall really fast. The game tries to force you away from the wall. Okay, so there's a secret passage you can tunnel under to get through that power bomb blockade that's there. So this is like sort of intended secret way. But this gets you into the heart of Red Brinstar much faster. Okay, so this room has a hidden energy tank that you're normally required to go pick up to be able to survive a 3-tank hell run in Norfair. But I just went in there to refill my ammo. Please give me a super. Okay, cool. Zila's like to drop supers sometimes. Ugh, missile? Okay, cool. I don't have charge yet, so ammo is kind of important here. Okay, so I am going to go fight Kraid. There is a locked door to the elevator to Norfair, and there are two different things that will open it. One is picking up the energy tank that's in that farm room I was just in. The other thing that will open it is defeating Kraid, so I'm going to go defeat Kraid right now. Behind Kraid is a Meridia tube. So you're supposed to go get power bombs from Norfair, and then come back here and blow open the tube to get access to the east part of Norfair. I was thinking about it, Hitaka. I was legitimately thinking about it. But yeah, so Kraid is a little bit buffed. Also, your supers have more than a second of cooldown, so quick kill is not really a thing. I also have no charge beam currently, because the shortcut I took to Red Brinstar bypassed the area of Brinstar that I would normally get charge beam. I'll be visiting it later. It's just more efficient to grab later when I get high jump. So yeah, I'm supposed to have charge beam at this point, but temporarily foregoing it for the sake of routing. That means I need to keep filling missiles off of these claws. Interesting thing about Kraid's flying claws. This applies to vanilla as well, but one of them has a 100% drop rate, and the other one never drops anything. Okay, so need this guy to shoot me with a spike so I can run through him with iframes. He will kill me if I touch his body. Oh yeah, so I guess I could explain the ammo counts. There are three different capacities of ammo upgrade. In Redesign. And the amount you get from each pickup varies based on whether it's out in the open missile pack, or in a Chozo ball, or hidden in a scenery tile like this one. This hidden missile is going to give me 10. The initial missile I got from the Chozo ball at the start of the game gives you 5, and missiles that are out in the open give you 2. The amounts that the super packs give you are 1, 2, and 2. And the amounts powerbomb packs give you are all 1 except for the initial one in a Chozo ball, which is 3. So it's supposed to be very limited on ammo. Alright, so I mentioned hell runs. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do hell runs on 0 E-tanks. So, regardless of this being faster, I am going to have to do a trick here called early Varia. So what you're normally supposed to do is you're supposed to go to Norfair to get Ice Beam to freeze these rippers here to make it up here. Let's see, but there's an infinite bomb jump you can do here. This is really difficult, by the way, because the knockback from the spike pit just tries to prevent you from doing... Okay, wow. I almost had it. But yeah, the knockback from the spike pit makes this really difficult. unless you get your bomb timing off the ground just right here, your iframes are going to run out just in time to get hit when you're at that top bomb. Okay, so that trick saves about 2.5 minutes in any percent, just by skipping the Hell Run to Norfair. But it's required here. Just gonna refill ammo and health here. Okay, so now this is gonna be one of the scariest parts of the run. Never mind all the damaging areas I just went through. This, what I'm about to do here, takes the cake for the scariest part of the run so far. I have to jump over these E-tanks. Alright, cool. Alright, made it. Alright, scary part over. Okay, so this part's scary. The drop into the lava here, if it doesn't go well, and this squeeze is gonna murder me, so I'm actually gonna get hit by this Nova to get iframes to make sure that squeeze doesn't damage me. Not just the damage it would do like 25 damage, but if it hits me, it would knock me back into the lava. Alright, so I got a second super drop from here, so I'm good on ammo for now. I need to keep my ammo up through here because I have to open this green door and then shoot a super block in the floor on the way to Crocomire. Gonna shoot that viola, that multi-viola a few times to delay its trajectory so that it doesn't run face first into me. Alright, so I'm going to be doing Crocomire with 15 missiles, 2 supers, and no charge beam. So I really need the fight to go well. I need to make sure I don't miss. And I probably need decent RNG on drops. So yeah, if I didn't farm that extra super on the way here, I'd run out here. And the only good source of getting a super back before that block is actually picking up a 1 super pack, which obviously I can't do. Alright, here goes. I think I'm good on ammo now. Sweet. Okay, here I need to make sure I don't fall in the acid. Your physics are extremely gimped in lava and acid without gravity. And without high jump especially. If I were to fall in this acid, I would not be able to get out. So, taking it nice and slow here. Okay, so now that I have power bombs, I have to go back to Kraid's tube to blow it up. Also, say goodbye to Rob. So I'm going to be following this path I just came in reverse. So I'm going to have to jump over that E-tank again. I'm going to have to do this room again. Come on. Okay. Ow. That hurt. Excuse me. I meant to fire that. I swear. Okay, this is gonna be rough. These disc gigas do 40 damage, so I have to be careful of this one hitting me. Okay, got out. Okay. Easy does it. Okay. If you're curious, the actual percentage that I'll be ending the game with is 9.4%. Without doing GT code, the lowest percentage known for sure right now is 14.1, I think. Yeah, 14.1%. But with GT code, it's 9.4. because I won't have to actually physically pick up gravity and ice beam and things like that. I did have to get an additional 10 pack of missiles. I could have done that, or a 2 pack of supers, but I actually do need some extra ammo to be able to open purple doors unassisted. So you saw purple door, this purple door I opened before on the way to Kraid. There's one in front of Variasuit as well. Those are new to this hack. They take a total of 25 missiles, or 5 supers, or a combination. I'm gonna blow open this tube. As long as you crack the tube, the game sets the flag for it to be broken. And in Redesign, the game lets you run, it lets you move around while the tube's breaking, so you can just leave the room to not have to see the cutscene. Trying to get some power bombs here, just in case. I guess that'll be good. Okay, so taking a slightly unconventional route here, as far as most categories go. This is an underpass, going underneath where the normal route would take you. It's a bit slower, but the point of this is to skip a missile pack that's sitting more or less in the way of the main path. It's a 2 missile pack, it's out in the open, and if I were to go the regular path, I would have to bomb jump over this missile pack on the way through here and on the way out, a total of 4 times through this run. So by taking this alternate path, I can bypass it. So I break that crumble block. That crumble block stays permanently broken from now on. So I'll be able to take that path backwards the next time I come through here. Oh, that's no good. That was not a good hit to take. I need to be careful now. Oh. I have to really be careful. As I was saying. It's too early in the morning for this. It's okay, we're only 14 minutes in. attack's normally fairly deadly, even with the 3 E-tanks you're supposed to have here. So I really do need to be more careful. Just gonna super this guy. Not playing games here. Has anyone ever done this run besides you? No. I'm sure ED will get to it at some point. But no. Okay, I have to do a gate glitch here. I don't have to, but this saves a couple minutes going down to grapple and then back up. Ooh, I should not have taken that hit. Reason being is I have to get a super missile drop here. And if I end up in health bomb range, that's going to suck. Hopefully this guy will drop one. Nope. Okay. Ow. I have to be really careful with the lava tide here. Okay, there's my super drop. Worst comes to worst, I can powerbomb the Ripper and get one from it as well. But I try not to waste my powerbomb here, just in case. There's also a good chance that I'll powerbomb the Ripper and the drop will appear in an awkward spot. And will cause me to fall into lava if I get it, so I like to hold off on that. That save point's pretty infamous. This section is probably the most unfair from a casual perspective. I have to kill everything in this room. This isn't the unfair part, just to be clear. It will be very clear when I come to it. This is the only category where I won't take the lava bath here. I can survive it. It'll just do like 60 damage, but it's really not worth it. Okay, grappling is pretty unwieldy because of the physics. Alright, so, welcome to the Grapple Gauntlet. If you fall into that acid, you were not getting out. Two. Three. Okay, first try. This part is not as bad. But really, the physics do make this harder than I'm making it look. Ask anyone who's played this casually. Can can also die here if you're not careful. Alright, well, I made that look underwhelming, I think. But that was in like even any percent runs of this, or any category really, that was my most significant source of stress for a while. And runs that died 40 minutes in. I'm doing this now because there's really no better time to do it. Any percent would come back here later with the speed booster and wave beam to get that gate, but since I will never have those items when I pass through here, now's the time. So this is a Chozo Guardian. Say hi. There are 12 of these in the game, and they are the gateway to Turian. There are 3 in each area, so you have to disarm them all to beat the game, instead of defeating the 4 bosses. Now the 4 bosses are supposed to be required to get to them, but in practice that is not. That can be negotiated to some degree. Without sequence breaking, you do need to beat them all, but get out of here. But this run will be skipping Phantoon, for instance. Really the main reason that Phantoon is going to be able to be skipped is that I will already have the gravity suit from doing GT code. So I want to waste like a tiny bit of time here as I'm climbing up, so that I can be on the right cycle of those balls, so I don't get knocked down as I'm climbing. That's why I waited for that other one to pass before I even started going up the rim. Okay, I have 2 supers here. I think I can use this for safety. Oh, that pyre was about to shoot. Really good I popped that super when I did. I could have used a super there. Okay, this room is relatively simple in comparison to some other ones, so let's try not to die here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I am now entering the end section of the first hell run that you're supposed to take in here. Well, the only hell run, really. But this area, this general area, is where Ice Beam is. which I will not be picking up physically. But yeah, this is all the stuff I skipped from before. So now that I have Grapple, I can go get High Jump from Brinstar. And on the way to High Jump, I'll be able to swing by and grab Charge Beam. This is also going to go back through some intended early game parts of Brinstar that I skipped when I took the route that got the super pack from Spiky Pit of Death. It's good that I got that gate glitch in so few tries, because I have to do another one right here. Like, you're supposed to open these gates on the way in. Okay, now I am back near Spore Spawn's area. So since Charge is now actually on the way here, I'm gonna go grab it. Try not to get shanked by a giant side hopper in this room. I think one will kill me with this health. Okay, I need to get a bit of ammo here to open this super door. Oh, that was scary. And then, now I need to go refill again, because I have to open a purple door. Purple doors are great. There's a 10-pack of missiles in this room to help you open this door, and I am not allowed to grab it. Okay, so this game pulled a fusion, and created a fusion of high jump and spring ball. So the high jump item being on in the menu also determines whether spring ball is active. The spring ball item slot has been repurposed for a new item called beam combo, which I guess I didn't talk about this, but it gives you back your taken away ability to combine beams. So if I were to get multiple beams in this, I would not be able to stack them until I picked up the beam combo. Okay, and going through Kraid again. I guess I'll amend what Hitaka said. Axial Edition version 1.5 takes out a lot of them. A lot of the purple doors. Just so we're clear. Alright, so guess what? You know that room that I got Grapple in Norfair? I'm going all the way back there. I'm just gonna save again because I'm probably gonna die again. Through no fault of my own, of course. But yeah, so I had to get Grapple all the way at the bottom of East Norfair to go back and get high jump from Brinstar, to go all the way back to that exact room because I need high jump to do a sequence break. So that room Grapple is in, that is actually... Oh. Hello. I forgot that guy was there. That room is actually an exit from Lower Norfair. And it's supposed to be a one-way, at least until you go through it once. So there's a tunnel above where that Chozo statue holding Grapple is sitting. Also, Spring Ball is really good in this. It has triple the horizontal speed of Vanilla's. And it also makes your morph ball not super slow anymore, although it still has worse acceleration than Vanilla. But anyways, so the tunnel above that Chozo that's holding Grapple, there's a crumble block in it that you can pop out of as an exit. So I'm going to ceiling clip in there. As a side effect of this game's heavy gravity, you actually need a high jump to do ceiling clips. The other thing I need high jump for is right after that. I have to do a really difficult trick that is going to look really, really silly. but I haven't gone over this yet. There was a feature in this hack called morph lock. So Drew, the creator, intended a lot of the morph ball tunnel puzzles. He wanted them done in morph ball with bomb jumps, you know, his intended way. So it's a feature called morph lock, and what it does is there are specific tile types that if you touch them, they will turn morph lock on or off. And if morph lock is on, your up and down buttons, and additionally possibly your jump button, depending on if you have spring ball on or not, those buttons are disabled when morph lock is active, so that you cannot unmorph. So the problem here is that there's this tunnel I'm going to end up in, and I have to shoot a super block to the end of this tunnel to get out. But this tunnel is a morph lock tunnel, so I have to do a frame perfect spring ball jump over the morph lock trigger so that I can unmorph and shoot this super missile. I swear I'm not making this up. There's also a chance that I might accidentally unmorph and then touch a morph lock trigger, and then because my up and down buttons are disabled, I won't be able to unmorph, or I won't be able to remorph, so I'll be stuck and have to reset. There's also a 50% chance that this trick won't work even if I do it on the right frame. Yep, I just did exactly what I was talking about. I triggered the morph lock when I was unmorphed. I'm not sure if Prime is a good influence. I think Prime's a fine influence. I think it just didn't. It could be a good influence if used in the right ways. This trick is really dumb. This trick saves 4 minutes in any percent. Because it lets you skip the first half of Lower Norfair. Whatever. Guess I'm just gonna take a lava bath. I did it again, dude. Allie, I don't think you have any room to talk about good influences. That feeling roasted in front of 2,000 people. Come on. So chat, what's new? Certainly not these rooms I'm going through. Okay, I think I'm being a bit overzealous with the unmorph here. I think that's why I'm getting stuck so much. Like if I touch the wall in front of me after unmorphing, then I will get stuck. So I need to be more careful. Oh, I didn't okay, finally, there we go. I didn't explain this, but the reason I'm bombing myself into the tunnel like that is to normalize the setup, so that when I start moving, I'm always starting to move from the same pixel, so that the timing for it is consistent. Alright, these guys do 60 damage, so I really do not want to get hit by them. I also really don't want to fall in the acid because I don't think I can get out of that. Alright. Oh, is this guy gonna follow me the whole way? Ow, that's bad. Good lord. Alright, I have to do that check again. I should not... that holds on the right, I should not have had that still following me. Oh, I'm sorry, am I not doing a good enough job of showing why people hate this hack? My bad. Thought I'd have done that 100 times over by now. Hold on for a minute, thank you, Becky. Glad somebody is holding down the puns while I'm actually trying to think about the game. Are you kidding me? If anyone in chat wants to explain this trick again, it would be appreciated. I'm not explaining it again. Not because I'm trying to be rude or anything, but... Okay, there we go. Can we please not die this time? Thanks. Can I please have another super? I think there were still some people confused as to why I reset there. But basically I was in a perma-stuck. Okay, so that Holtz from... Was it this one that was following me incessantly? No, I think it was the... Are you kidding me? The save point is literally right after this room, by the way. Alright, so I get to do this for the 5th time. You're not supposed to be able to unmorph there to shoot the super, so... I'm doing a frame-perfect springball jump that lets me skip the trigger for that. I guess I did kind of just explain it, but what can happen is that if you hit the trigger when you're unmorphed, you are stuck unmorphed. World record is 2:10:05. It's been a really good showcase of this one mechanic. Oh, I'm glad. It is not, definitely not covered enough in any other resources that exist. So there are actually 2 paths I could take out of this room. The other one's worse. Way worse. I might actually just kill that other Holtz that's bugging me since it's giving me so much trouble. Alright, cool. I'm just gonna kill it this time. I normally don't kill it, but I can't seem to remember my setup for dodging it, so I'm just gonna kill it. The rest of them shouldn't be difficult to dodge. But yeah, this one I'm gonna get rid of. Please. Okay, made it. Praise be. How many beam shots to... I have no idea. I'm actually curious now. I'm gonna look that up after this run. I'm gonna look it up in Smile because it would take less time than actually counting the shots. Alright, this room is really, really dangerous because these enemies do 60 damage to my various suit. I'm supposed to have gravity right now, but yeah, so 60 damage. And they do a great job of knocking you down those crumble platforms. So I can only tank 1 hit from it. My normal strat tanks a hit from from 2 of them to get across those crumble bridges. I like to get iframes to make sure that another one doesn't come and knock me down, but I don't really have the health for that here. So I have to make do with a really perilous setup. Oh, this is okay, I got that. I got that second try. That's still pretty good. I need another super here for a green door. So it would have been super good if I got that first try. Get it super good. Okay, well. Yeah. Let's just... Oh, that's right, I still need to kill this one. I kinda want another PB. No, it doesn't matter. Oh. Careful of that guy. Okay, you guys ready for me to die to Ridley? Why did I not shoot the second one? Alright, let's go. So the only damage value of Ridley's that has changed is his body. His body does 120 damage instead of the usual 40, which would end up being 240 with no gravity. So that would be an instant kill, either way. But his tail and fireballs do their vanilla damage, so 60 damage from the tail and 30 damage from the fireballs because of not having gravity. There's also, his tail can bounce off of the outside of the Metroid capsule. I don't know why that happens. It does give a bit of protection from his tail, but it's really not foolproof. Oh, come on. Also, fireballs can double hit you pretty easily, so even though I could survive a couple at 30 damage, I really don't want to get hit at all. The reason that his body damage is jacked up so much is... Oh, is he swooping now? Sweet. This won't be too much. Nice bomb spread. The reason his body damage is jacked up so much is he's actually weak to pseudo screw attack. Pseudo screw attack does a lot of damage to him. So it's like a health trade-off kind of thing. But obviously don't have any health to work with here. Is he gonna shoot a fireball? No. He's been very nice to me lately with not shooting fireballs when he starts a swoop. So, once he's at 0 HP, I'm gonna have him try and, oof. I'm gonna have him try and run out his death swoop counter, instead of picking me up directly. Nice. Pseudo Screw does 4,800, and he has about 30,000 health. PowerPoint? Oh no. I don't think I'm dropping very much, so it should clear up. Yeah, I think it was just like 400 frames or so. I almost got hit there. I can't believe I got away from that. Yo, he turns around when he was so far away from the wall. That was pretty unfair. Uh-oh. He didn't turn around. Oh, that is... There's not a whole lot you can do if he doesn't leave you much space. Oh, that was close. This morph ball's acceleration is so bad. Also, the charge timer is 80 frames instead of 60. So, if it looks slower to you, that's because it is. Okay, so this area is kind of, I didn't mention this yet, but this area is kind of a little bit of a boss rush. It locks you in until you fight first Ridley and then Gold Torizo. Alright, and we survived that key hunter. That key hunter can just shank you without much warning. Which sucks, because I have to redo all of this. Alright. Gold Torizo's room, input GT code, now I have everything except screw attack. And screw attack is, well, when it's out of the way, and two, it wouldn't be low percent if I grabbed it, so we're not getting screw attack. This is basically like retribution for everything suffered thus far. That's how I like to think of it. Okay, now I'm gonna save so I don't have to do any of that again. Dude, I'm allowed to fall into acid now. It feels great. It's like when you stop being on a diet. You have such freedom. So not having screw attack here makes this pretty different from any percent, because any percent would grab screw attack on the way into lower Norfair. And screw attack's actually also a movement item in this game. It makes you rocket forward really far, in addition to being able to destroy everything in your path. So not having screw attack is making my jumps actually horizontally shorter. Really? Come on. So the movement in this is different as well. I forgot that these blockades were going to be here. You normally cleared them out a long time ago. I'm going to turn off Speed Booster here. Because Super Metroid does not want you to be able to charge a Shine Spark in lava for whatever reason. So if you have Speed Booster enabled, the game will actually prevent you from having run speed. If you enter lava with run speed, even via bounce ball or whatever, the game will kill it. So I turned Speed Booster off here so I can actually achieve run speed. Because there's so much lava in this that it's actually worth it. I don't do this in any percent because any percent has screw attack, and screw attack works well enough. But here it is worth it. I'm also going to take the opportunity to switch my beam because... Wait, actually... No, never mind, I shouldn't have done that. Crap. I was thinking of a different route. I'm gonna have to switch it back. I'll explain why I did that later. But since I'm in this area, I'm going to be taking the opportunity to gate glitch into the heart of Meridia to get to Batun quicker. Yo! Did I just get that first try? That is a huge run killer in any percent, because you have to do 2 back-to-back here. now I'm failing this one. There we go. This gate is stupid, because it's raised off the ground. I really, really hate this gate. There we go. These gates pretty much just skip a lot of travel time, looping around this huge area. Yeah, exactly, Korea. It gives you the item that's in the spring ball slot. Thus, beam combo. The way that the high jump and spring ball combo works is just by taking all of the physics table that checks for spring ball. There's basically a different physics table of values, one for regular morph ball and one for spring ball, and you can add a lot of different values between them. So that's why he's able to make the base speed of the morph ball faster with spring ball. They're the exact same speed in vanilla, but you can change them to be different. But yeah, the spring ball has a completely different table of physics, and so he just changed the bit it checks for from the spring ball bit to the high jump bit. So Botwin is actually weak to screw attack. He dies in 3 frames from screw attacking. So that's how you kill him in any percent. But yeah, so I have to kill Botwin here to open the path to Dragon later. Oh, actually, I could have gone through top pass here. Oh, I just realized I forgot to... There's a passage in Brinstar I forgot to open up, so I'm gonna have to take a slightly longer detour than I meant to, but it really won't make a very big difference. Let's get some supers though. So normally, there's a power bomb blockade that if I blew up, the floor over there to the right by that door where that girder is, that would just be open. Oh, I forgot about X-ray. I completely forgot I had it. Wow. Nice. Well, I don't need this open now. I need to go around. For some reason it gives the item. Well, the icon and the item are kind of independent. At least upon acquisition, the game runs a routine to draw the item on the HUD. If you get the item from doing GT code, the game just obviously never runs that routine. It also runs the routine when it checks if you have the item upon loading the game. But during gameplay, the only way to obtain the icon is to pick up the item. Don't crash the game. I have no idea how that happens. I probably should have saved here just in case, but... I need to find the clip of that. My game just crashed and completely spazzed out for no reason one time when I went through this door. It just turned all blue and... just a bunch of blue squares popping up everywhere, I don't know why. This power bomb is literally in the way. The gravity is too heavy to be able to jump over it. I'm actually not kidding. So yeah, that power bomb is required. Low percent actually does a moonfall using frozen Zelas to get to the power bomb early, so that it can be obtained as the first one, because there's no way to skip it. This category doesn't do that because it doesn't pick up Ice Beam. This room is an enemy kill count of 6. You have to kill 6 enemies to open the door. And there aren't actually 6 enemies in the room, so you have to keep... Well, there are. You can kill Meridias, I guess. But you can just farm bugs until the door opens. The setup really isn't that bad. No prizes for guessing who came up with it, though. Why is there a mirrored for it? Don't worry about it. Just focus on the 69 energy that I have right now. So, I guess to recap, for people who are joining in the middle of this, this is low percent GT code of Super Metroid Redesign. Super Metroid Redesign is a ROM hack. Old iconic one, classic. Most people in the community know of it. Um, Unfair difficulty, heavy physics, yada yada. GT code is short for Golden Torizo code, and it's a debug code that was left in the vanilla game. This powerbomb is required too because it's literally sitting in the Guardian's hands. But yeah, left in the game by the developers. It's written into Golden Torizo's AI itself. If you go into his room and you hold A, B, X, Y during the door transition, the game gives you 700 energy, 120 ammo, and every major item except for Skirt Attack. So this code, while not actually a glitch, it is not allowed in the major glitch categories, but it has its own set of categories. And what low percent GT code does here is it gets to GT with the minimum required items to get there, and then does GT code. In this hack, the way that percentage is calculated, the items from GT code do not count to the percentage. In vanilla, they actually, many of them do count because vanilla actually looks at your ammo counts to determine percentage rather than the items you picked up off the map. So that's why the category that you saw for vanilla earlier in the marathon was max percent GT code. That achieved a total of 135%. This run will get a total of 9.4%. So, also the draw to this is getting to GT in this hack requires defeating Ridley, so you have to do a 0 E-Tank Ridley fight, which took me a couple tries, but yada yada, here we are. Have all the things now, get all the Guardians. Yeah, I'm playing on SD2 SNES. This is a really quick cleanup of criteria, and actually here I do need to switch beams. I switched beams too earlier, because I changed the route a little bit. But the reason I want to switch beams here is the beams in this game actually have differing rates of fire. My beam at the start was super rapid fire because it was power beam. But, I'm not supposed to go through that door. But yeah, so I turn on a faster firing beam too, because I have to destroy a cargo soon. Alright, this trick is pretty cool. And, alright, messed us up once, that's fine. Got this other zoomer to work with. So if you grapple zoomers, in Redesign in particular, you actually latch onto them briefly before they die. So you can actually stick yourself inside walls or inside that gate. Usually, the goal there is to end up inside the gate so that it force opens it. Oh, that's power bomb blocks, not a speed booster block. Anyway, yeah. Normally you want to force that gate open. There's a gray door at that bottom of the room that in most other categories, you can use it as a shortcut to get to Phantoon by taking a second zoomer, luring it through the room after forcing open the gate, and then grapple glitching through the door using that zoomer. But I don't have to fight Phantoon in this category because Phantoon's main purpose is to block the way to Gravity Suit, which I already have, and because I already have Gravity Suit, I'm able to traverse these underwater areas just fine. So yeah, I need to destroy these two cargos that are in my way, so that's why I equipped a beam that fires faster. Wave Spazer. Spazer by itself and also Wave Spazer both fire at the same speed as Power Beam, which is the fastest rate of fire in this hack, which has a cooldown of 8 frames. All the vanilla beam shots have cooldowns of 15 frames, except for Ice Plasma, for whatever reason has 12. But they're all different in this hack. Wave Beam by itself in Redesign is like 27 or something, I don't remember. Plasma by itself is 10, so it's almost as good. So that was all 3 Guardians and Criteria really quick. Normally that 3rd Guardian I just got is a pain to loop around for after getting Gravity. Gravity's deep in this underwater area, but already coming into the area with Gravity, it's really simple to just go to it. Now the intended route is actually taking a much longer path through underwater Criteria. Also fighting 2 sets of ninja pirates underwater without the gravity suit. Okay, so this is kind of supposed to be your first entrance into Meridia. Space Jump is supposed to be acquired from Botsoon, but I already have it, so... I mean, I've already killed Botsoon, but normally you wouldn't have killed Botsoon being here. So Space Jump lets me get up to this door. I'm gonna open this green gate in case I do a dumb and fall here. But yeah, this will get me to Dragon. So kind of interesting thing to me that you probably don't care about is there's a lot of weird triggers in this game that are not supposed to be easily understood by the casual player. But basically, like, it's... I don't think it's really fair to compare it to, like, Fusion's event system at all, but it's, like, very minorly kind of in that direction. Basically, killing Botsoon spawns a physical trigger that when you run through, it creates an earthquake, and once you run through it, this giant wall in front of Dragon is gone. There's actually another way to hit a trigger that does the same thing, removes the Dragon wall, that's in Norfair. But doing so requires you to skip another trigger that's earlier in Norfair that requires you to have additional items to jump over. So either high jump or screw attack would be required. The GT Classic route, any percent, no major glitches, but using GT code, that route does that. So it gets to skip Botsoon and just go to Dragon straight away. It's pretty cool, but yeah, this game, like, Drew made this really complicated with the way that triggers work in this game. So Dragon is required for... Oh, that damage boost didn't do what I wanted it to. Dragon's required for 2 Guardians in Meridia, by virtue of locking doors. I could have powerbombed that, I think. So far I've cleaned up all 3 Guardians in Norfair, all 3 in Criteria. Brinstar, I've gotten the western one only, and Meridia I haven't done any of them. This one here is the eastern one that I'm working on now. So Dragon unlocks this door to get over to this green switch to remote open this gate. Maybe fairly obvious by now. Never mentioned it, but the gates in Redesign are also a bit of custom code. There's a whole bit array that the gates use, like an additional set of event flags. So the game remembers when you open a gate. So next time you reload the room, it will be open. So that allows for remote gates like this. I love how the hour mark is the only thing about the timer that's deceptive right now. I think somebody's sub may have run out. This part hooks that back up to the Kraid tube. So now I can actually duck back into Brinstar and get the two guardians that are right over here. Come on. Okay, that spring wall jump is a bad idea, let me tell you. The gravity in this game can cause you to really easily miss tunnel entrances by falling too fast. Here is, objectively the best guardian in the game. This earthquake happens when you approach this room after defeating Ridley. Defeating Ridley is the trigger for this random tube to break, which hides a guardian. Defeating Ridley is also the trigger that causes Western Criteria to flood, which, I mean, you're supposed to have the gravity suit at that point, but it gets kind of annoying to navigate that area if you happen to not have it. I call this room the Sand Canyon, and normally there's a cool shrine spark you can do. You go all the way to the right, charge a spark, and then screw attack all the way across the Sand Canyon, and then spark up through this sand pit, and end up here. It saves 5 seconds and a super, but without screw attack you don't have enough speed to make it across with your Shrine Spark charge. Which, like, one kind of unfortunate thing I just realized about this is that... Did that hit? I don't think that hit. There we go. You can actually hit that off screen with the wave shot. Kind of unfortunate thing is that this particular category does not have a lot of... It doesn't have any cool Shrine Spark shenanigans, really, honestly. The speed booster in this game is like the GBA games, where it has the slow recharge mechanic. The speed booster in the GBA games is a bit slower paced than SM's, so having that mechanic in SM is pretty nuts to control. But it also looks really flashy. And here's the last Guardian. I never really talked about those 4 gates in those tunnels I was opening, but they're all hiding this Guardian, which is also randomly hidden in the ceiling. So, I mean, the hints that there's something important here is kind of that you have to go through all this trouble to get whatever's over here. But there's also a power bomb pack hidden in the room before, so it's somewhat reasonable to think that you're supposed to do all that for a power bomb. Alright, and this is the gatekeeper. This elevator to Turian is near an elevator in Criteria. I get a heart attack every time I go into the statue's hand. If it doesn't start shaking, it means you missed a Guardian. But yeah, the first time you find it, you get in its hand and it tells you how many you have left to disarm, and that's supposed to be your first clue that that's how you beat the game. That 2 is kind of agitated. Unfortunately, I don't think that 2 is going to be going anywhere. think I might just let this Turian speak for itself. Really, this one just would not latch on. Wasn't having any of it. Let's get rid of these guys. You can do a mock ball in this room to skip an entire other room of Metroids. Why is this one oh, I have to move over. My bad. I forgot where to stand for that one. Okay, this is a lot harder without screw attack. Yeah, I didn't think that was happening. It is possible to do it without screw attack, but... That's alright, because I have reserves from GT code, but... this room is really stupid without screw attack if you don't have reserves. Let's see if I can get through it just for fun. Oh. Oh well. That room is fun in actual low percent, where you need to keep your reserve tank to survive. Agreed, Ali. So if you guys like the timer, or if you hate the timer, you can direct all comments and criticism towards Ponk, who ran in the item randomizer race with league settings, along with Totori and D-Drake, and who raced Chrono Trigger with Red Slash. No, you actually can't do stand-up in this. It just doesn't work. Mother Brain's Rainbow Beam was edited to last for 439 frames instead. So it does 439 damage. And also, it's been coded to take away your items. So I don't know what all he did to mess with it, but it doesn't matter what suits you have on, it always does 439, and stand-up just doesn't work. So this fight is actually fairly dangerous because of not having my suits anymore. Or items. Like, okay, I am going to stop messing around. I'm just going to do lag corner. I have died to this fight before. I think Ponk is also doing a race of Super Metroid reverse boss order at some point. Also, if you were around for the 135% GT code race of Vanilla earlier, Canadian Owl used this timer. I think he used it, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he did. Okay, could we calm chat down for a bit? I'm the one playing Super Metroid Redesign, so I'm the only one here who has the right to be angry for any reason. Well, this had pretty much the exact effect I was going for, so thank you. Galaxy Brain plays. Did I mention there's Metroids in the escape and you can't kill them because you don't have Ice Beam anymore? This one likes to end runs a lot. Well, now everyone is unable to unhear it, so you all know who to thank for that. Surprised I actually got up here without falling down. Nice. Hug the wall, hug the wall, hug the wall. Yes, there's rising lava in these rooms. Underwater mock ball. Only reason that works is that you can jump and break the water line there. Otherwise the game would just kill your run speed. Gotta be careful here, because if you fall down, acid catches up to you, you're dead. And you can fall once, but if you fall twice from high up, that is not good. Oh, come on. Please. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the ship is not... That screen is where the ship just was, but it was caved in. Okay, doing that series of wall jumps with steam here was not a good idea. I'm really lucky that that worked out. Alright. This is the equivalent of King Kak Attack with this game. That jump right there at the steam. Oh, come on. Am I seriously? Yo, we're underestimate. Okay, so pretty much the first half of that escape is not difficult. It can be hard to find your way around it's easy to get lost. But the second half, I wouldn't say it's really difficult either, but it has a number of rooms that are death traps. So all the rising lava rooms, if you aren't totally sure where you're going the first time, there's a number of them that you can reasonably die in. The Metroids and Turian, you can definitely die to. All of the deaths in the escape, like, the bad thing about it is that they're all over halfway into it, so it's your first time playing, you die because you don't know where to go, and then you have to fight Mother Brain again and then do the whole first half of Turian again. Other than that, it's really not difficult. Difficult parts of this are really the area where Grapple Beam is, and Lower Norfair. I mean, especially with the route that I did. If you die in the escape, well, if you die anywhere in the game, you restart at your last save, so wherever that is, but that is always going to be before Mother Brain. I didn't remind you I got perma-stuck like 4 times, and... How many times did I die to Ridley? I think I only died to Ridley once, so that was pretty good. Alright, let's see this sweet percentage. Alright, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed.